And this 2-pack does come with Vector Sugma. Sugma Ball. Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime back for another Transformers action figure video, and today we're going to be looking at the Transformers Legacy Hasbro PulseCon exclusive A Hero is Born 2-pack. So yeah, this has been a highly anticipated 2-pack for me personally, but does it quite live up to that hype? So let's just start by taking a look at the packaging. Now, I do not know who did the artwork here, but this looks phenomenal. I love Alpha Trion right there, the damaged Orion Pax, says Transformers Legacy, Hasbro, A Hero is Born. Transformers, here on the side, it says Orion Pax, it's got Orion Pax right there. And then on the other side, we got an image of Alpha Trion. At the top, it says Transformers Legacy in big old text. On the bottom, nothing much really here going on. Here on the back of the packaging, it's got The Hero is Born, Alpha Trion, Orion Pax, and yeah, pretty nice artwork and box here. It's actually a lot bigger than I thought it would be when it showed up. And now getting the lame accessories out of the way, Orion Pax here just comes with the exact same accessories the 86 Cup came with, because the Orion Pax is a repaint of that figure. So Hasbro felt obligated to include this little red blaster, as well as the Energon goodie dispenser, but this time it's repainted in this kind of bluish, grayish color, so it can look like a walkie-talkie, I think is what Hasbro called it, but whatever, I guess. And then, since Alpha Trion is a repaint of the Sweep, he came with the blaster that the Sweep slash Scourge came with, so, and honestly, Alpha Trion doesn't really have a use for this. And then finally, something Alpha Trion does have a use for is Vector Sigma. Vector Sigma, the powerful supercomputer of all knowledge, comes with a transparent stand here. Out of the box, it does come in two separate parts, this base and this arm, and now that I've put them together, it doesn't feel like they're going to come apart, but it does have a little 5mm peg and a 5mm port, and you just plug the supercomputer Vector Sigma on there. And then finally you get the key to Vector Sigma, and it looks pretty good, very accurate to the G1 cartoon. Again, done in this amazing gold color, and that just slides right there on the top. And it doesn't, honestly, there's nothing much to this accessory, but it's just great that they included it in the first place, because we haven't had a toy Vector Sigma in a long while. And Alpha Trion definitely looks more at home when he's with Vector Sigma. Because of how lore-heavy the key to Vector Sigma is, it doesn't look too out of place when in the hands of other Transformers figures who have used it. And if some of you are a little bit newer to Transformers and none of you have any idea who Orion Pax is, basically it's Optimus before he became Optimus Prime. And also back in the day, he had a girlfriend named Ariel, who would eventually become Elita 1. The Orion Pax head sculpt here is brand new, and it looks pretty well done. I do feel like they could have done a better facial expression than just this blank, dead stare. I feel like they should have at least put in a little bit more emotion in his face, but overall, I don't think he's a bad figure. I like the cup mold. They retooled the whole chest here, so it looks unique, and overall, everything else is just retooled straight from cup. And I like the colors. The bright red and blue with the bits of yellow is definitely reminiscent of Optimus Prime's classic color scheme. And overall, I think this figure has pretty good paint. Doesn't feel like it's going to chip anytime soon. These knees are retooled parts as well. And as far as kibble goes, his kibble isn't all that bad. I mean, it's the same thing as Cup. You know what to expect. I just feel like these bit areas back here are just a little bit too waffly looking for my taste. And the backpack does kind of fold in a very peculiar way, but specifically mine doesn't really like to tab in, where the one on Cup tabbed in a little bit better, but overall I don't think this guy is that bad at all. Yeah, going over his articulation, he's got a nice ball joint at the head, allows for some head pivoting, some head swiveling, and can look up and down. Shoulders can rotate a full 360, they can move out. Oh my gosh. They can move outward that far. This is definitely annoying. He does get a bicep swivel. He gets a ratcheted bend at the elbow that bends over 90 degrees. Nothing at the wrist, sadly. Would have liked something at the wrist. Waist swivel. Oh my gosh. His hips can move forward that far, they can kick back that far, they can move outward very far. He does get a thigh swivel. He does bend at the knee about 90 degrees, and then finally his toes can shift up and down, and he gets some decent ankle pivot. One other feature on Orion Pax that you also can do, which is accurate to the cartoon, is you can, just like the weaponizers, you can rip this guy apart. Very clever reuse of the whole tearing apart cup feature, because that was meant to be movie accurate to the... And here is taking a look at one of the most important lore-heavy characters in Transformers, Alpha Trion. Alpha Trion here looks very well done. The new head sculpt there, with a lot of the retooled parts on the sweep mold, look very nice. I like his beard, even though it doesn't really make much sense. Still looks really good. I like the head crest and everything. Coming down the rest of the body, I like this purplish bluish stripe that goes right around his chest and onto the shoulders. Kind of a bit of a spike right here, be careful of that. Autobot logo there on the belly. And also I like this collar he has going around his neck. Doesn't really make sense that much in the context of him being a robot, but it's cool anyway. And then he has two open hands, which the sweep had just one closed hand and one open hand, and this guy just has both open hands. And the hips have also been retooled. He also has this kind of cape section kind of retooled back here on the back. And the feet and legs are exactly the same. It almost looks like he's wearing like some kind of, fancy tipped shoes. And then the kibble obviously is meant to invoke his cape, but really it looks more like the sweep's wings, obviously. But yeah, the kibble's pretty good kibble management considering the transformation, and I really liked this mold from the 86 Studio Series line, so overall, I don't think Alpha Trion's a bad figure. Going over his articulation, his head can bob up and down, can pivot from side to side a little bit, swivels all over the place until the beard gets in the way of the collar, so he can't swivel all the way. Shoulders rotate forward, back, and up, and then they can move... Oh my gosh. They can move outward that far. He does get a bicep swivel, bend at the elbow. The wrists can rotate. He does get a waist swivel. Very nice, buttery, smooth waist swivel. Hips can kick forward. They can kick back that far until the kibble gets in the way. His legs can move outward that far. He does get a thigh swivel. 90 degrees of bend at the knee. And the ankles can pivot a little bit, toe articulation, and all that good stuff on this guy. So, not bad, not bad, not bad. Here is Alpha Trion and Orion Pax compared next to the one figure that looked the closest to Ariel, the Netflix Alita 1. And then here is Alpha Trion and Orion Pax compared next to the great Optimus Prime. And then here they are with their mold counterparts, the Studio Series 86 Cup and the Sweep. So anyway, that is it for comparisons. I just barely noticed this detail now. Orion Pax has a little set of abs right here. Now let's get into these guys' transformations. And here is Orion Pax and Alpha Trion in their Cybertronian pickup truck mode, as well as a space boat, bar of soap, I don't know. Starting to look at Orion Pax, I think it does make sense that he would transform into a pickup truck before he turned into a giant rig. It again kind of shows you the upgrade he really went up on. And the classic Optimus Prime color scheme is captured pretty well in the pickup truck form, with all this blue right here, the red at the front by the cab, and overall I don't really got much to complain about. I do feel like these gray wheels here are a bit plain, but then again, they are meant to be Cybertronian, so what can you do about it? I like how the details of the chest of the retooled chest are really put on display here on the front. I like the red paint they used right here. Goes really well with the red plastic. It doesn't look too different from each other. And overall looks very bright, vibrant, and I've barely got any problems with it. Except that one of my biggest issues is that on the Deluxe Class Cup, his arms transform flawlessly, where on this figure, for some reason, his shoulders have such the hardest time transforming. It is bizarre. And he rolls pretty well, too, I guess. And again, they did a great job with Alpha Trion, especially with some of the retooled parts. They definitely tried to make him look a little different by adding in this little Cybertronian cockpit right there at the front. And he obviously still has the little sweep engines over here, but for me personally, I prefer to keep these more flushed down just so that it makes it look just that little bit more different. And then obviously this main engine right here has been changed to have more of a boxy kind of look, and there's a bit of his head poking out right there. And other than that, it is basically the exact same space boat thing that the sweep turns into, except minus a little bit of the parts on the underside. And this thing rolls pretty well as well, I would also say. Here they are compared next to the Netflix Elita 1, who I gave up halfway through transforming. And then here they are with their mold mates, the Deluxe Class 86 Cup and Voyager Sweep. And then here is them compared next to the Optimus Prime big flat-nosed rig. So yes, that is basically it for the comparisons, which I totally did not do out of order. Also, Vector Sigma has no way to store on there. But you could try to use the stand for some flight poses if you can manage it. Okay, now let's get these guys back into robot mode for my final verdict. Oh gosh. And that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Legacy A Hero Was Born 2-pack. And yeah, I like the figures. I do feel like the quality control is differs a little bit from the original Sweep and Cup. Like, for example, Orion Pax's arms keep wanting to pop off, even though the ones on Cup were pretty nice and sturdy. And some of the joints on Alpha Trion are a little too loose than I would like them to be, where the Sweep had nice, tight joints. So I feel like the figures are really good. I like the retooling. I think this is really good retooling of really good molds. I like both of the figures. I just feel like there could have been just something a teeny bit extra that would have made it feel just a little more satisfying. Specifically, some of the quality control issues, and if not, then maybe those could have been remedied with maybe one or two other extra accessories, though I do admit the Vector Sigma accessory is pretty good even on its own. So yeah, if I had to give this 2-pack a rating, I give it a very solid 8 out of 10. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this Transformers review. If you guys did, be sure to give me a like on the video, comment down below what you guys think, subscribe to the channel for more Transformers and action figure videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.